Welcome back to AI for Your Work. This is Tutorial 2, Setup and Hello World. By the end of this video, you'll have a working AI agent running on your machine, built from scratch in about 15 minutes. We're starting from a completely fresh Ubuntu 24 installation, so you can follow along step by step. Let's get into it. Here's what we're building. The simplest possible LangGraph agent, a graph with one node called think that sends a question to Claude and returns the answer. It's simple, but it's real orchestration. The same pattern, state, nodes, edges, compile, invoke, is what scales to complex multi-agent systems later in this series. You'll need a machine running Ubuntu 24. A virtual machine works perfectly. An internet connection. And an Anthropic API key, which we'll set up together in a few minutes. It doesn't matter which VM platform you use. VMware, VirtualBox, Cloud, anything works. All right, let's start by opening a terminal. First thing we do on any fresh system, update all the packages. This makes sure everything is current before we install our own tools. This takes a couple of minutes, so I'll speed it up. Nothing exciting here, just let it finish. Next, install Python and the development tools we need. Python 3, pip for package management, venv for virtual environments, git, and curl. Ubuntu 24 ships with Python 3.x, which is exactly what we want. Let's verify. There it is, Python 3. Now we create our project. Make a directory called AI-Orchestration-Lab. Move into it. And now, this is important, we create a virtual environment. A virtual environment keeps all our project's packages isolated. It means what we install here won't affect anything else on the system. Now we activate it with source venv bin activate. See that? The prompt now shows venv in parentheses. That means we're inside the virtual environment. Everything we install from here is isolated to this project. Quick housekeeping. Upgrade pip to the latest version inside our venv, and verify it's pointing to our virtual environment path. Good. We're ready to install LangGraph. Now the important part. We install two packages. LangGraph, that's the orchestration framework. It's what lets us build agent graphs with nodes, edges, and state management. And LangChain Anthropic, that's the connector that lets LangGraph talk to Claude. You could swap this for LangChain OpenAI if you wanted to use GPT instead. The orchestration layer doesn't care which LLM you choose. Let's verify everything installed correctly. First, check the LangGraph version. There it is, perfect. And now check the Anthropic connector. Anthropic connector. Okay, we're in business. Now we need an API key. This is what lets our agent talk to Claude. Go to console.anthropic.com, create an account or sign in, navigate to API keys, and create a new key. Now, important note, the API is billed separately from a Claude subscription. If you have ChatGPT Plus or Claude Pro, that does not include API access. But don't worry, the costs for these tutorials are tiny. Even $5 of credits will last you through the entire series. Each question costs a fraction of a cent. And treat this key like a password. Don't share it, don't commit it to version control. Back in the terminal. We set the key as an environment variable with export. Now, this only lasts for the current session. If you close the terminal, it's gone. So we also add it to the VNV's activate script. That way, every time you activate the virtual environment in the future, the key loads automatically. Let's verify. There it is. The key is set and ready. Now for the fun part, writing the actual agent. The code has 4 sections: state, which defines what data flows through the graph; LLM, where we connect to Claude; node, the think step that actually calls Claude; and graph, where we wire it all together. These 4 building blocks are the same pattern you'll use for every agent in this series. Let's write it. Let's create our agent file. Nano hello_agent.py. First, the imports. We need state graph, start and end from LangGraph, chat Anthropic from the LangChain connector, and typed dict for defining our state. Now the state class. This defines what data flows through our graph. Right now it's simple. A question goes in, an answer comes out. But in later tutorials, this state will hold memory, tool results, and messages between multiple agents. Next, we create the LLM. One line, chat Anthropic with the Claude Sonnet model. This is the brain that powers our agent's thinking. Now the node, a function called think. It takes the current state, sends the question to Claude, and returns the answer. This is a single step in the graph. Later, we'll have multiple nodes, a research node, an analysis node, a reporting node, all connected together. And now, the graph itself. We create a state graph, add our think node, then add 2 edges, start to think and think to end. Then we compile it. That's it. This is the simplest possible graph. 1 node, 2 edges. But this exact same pattern, add nodes, add edges, compile, is how you build complex multi-agent systems. Finally, the run section. 2 test questions. The first is simple. What is AI orchestration in 1 sentence? The second requires more reasoning. The difference between an AI agent and a chatbot. Let's save this. Control-O, enter, Control-X, and run it. Here we go! Look at that! Claude is responding. Our agent just sent a question to Claude through the Anthropic API, received the response, and printed it to the terminal. That's a working orchestration graph. It's simple. 1 node, 2 edges. But the pattern is real. State flows in, the node processes it, state flows out. Your first AI agent is alive. Let's make it interactive. I've created a second script, same agent, but now with a loop so you can ask it anything. Let's run it. Try it out. Look at that response. Let's ask it something harder. Impressive! You could sit here and chat with your agent all day. But remember, right now it's just thinking. It can't browse the web, it can't check data, it can't use any tools. That changes in tutorial 3. Let's step back and understand what we just built. We defined a state, what data flows through the graph. We created a node, a function that calls Claude. We connected it with edges, start to think to end, and we compiled it into a runnable agent. This is the exact same pattern you'll use for every agent in this series. The only thing that changes is how many nodes, how they connect, and what tools they use. Quick checklist to confirm everything is solid. Python version 3.12, check. Python path, pointing to our venv, check. LangGraph installed, check. API key set, check. Agent runs, check. All 5 pass. Your system is ready for Tutorial 3. Here are the 5 concepts we introduced today: state, node, edge, graph, and compile. Every single one of these will come back in later tutorials. State gets memory in Tutorial 4. We add multiple nodes in Tutorial 5. Edges become conditional. The agent decides which path to take. These building blocks are the foundation for everything. In Tutorial 3, things get really interesting. Right now, our agent can think, but it can't do anything. It can't check the weather, it can't fetch data, it can't browse the web. In the next tutorial, we give it a tool. We'll build a gold price checker that fetches live data from the web, compares it to yesterday's price, and generates a natural language market summary. That's where orchestration starts to get exciting. Agents that can act, not just think. If this tutorial helped you get set up, hit subscribe so you don't miss Tutorial 3. The full written guide with all the code is linked in the description. I'll see you in the next one.